All right, welcome back to the Star Trek Rewatch. It's Thursday, and I watched the episodes out of the wrong order last week, so I'm watching the episode I should have watched, which is a piece of the action now. When I put it in the playlist below, I'll put it in the correct order, but I did do the immunity syndrome, and that should have been this week, so I flip flopped them somehow by accident. So here we go. The writers for this episode are David P. Harmon, Gene L. Kuhn. The story was by David P. Harmon. Start date 4598.0. 100 years before the start of the Enterprise's 5 year mission, the Federation vessel USS Horizon visited the planet Iosha. The Ioshians, a highly imitative people, modeled their planet's culture after a book that was left behind on their world by one of the crew of the Horizon. The book, Chicago Mobs of the 20s, inspired the Ioshians to duplicate the gangs of old Chicago. At first, the Enterprise landing party, consisting of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, have difficulty. Bella Oxmix, a key gang leader, who first makes contact with the Starship crew, wants to use the Enterprise weapons to take over Iosha. Rival gangster Jojo Krakow has the same idea. By playing according to Iosha's unique rules, Kirk finally succeeds in uniting the planet's most influential gangsters, essentially Kirk himself. Him and Spock end up wearing pinstripe suits and carrying Tommy guns and essentially use these thuggish tactics against the people themselves because they only understand the gangster culture, right? He sets up a world government headed by Oxmix. Kirk leaves behind the fiction that the Federation will expect an annual piece of the action, that they want to get their cut, right? From Iosha's new government. McCoy accidentally leaves behind his communicator, which Kirk worries may lead the Ioshians to become a super technical giant by the time of the Federation's next visit. All right, so the comedic episode, really. There aren't very many of them. I think mainly the Harry Mudd episodes, The Trouble with Tribbles, and this episode probably are the only ones I can think of right off the top of my head that are quote unquote comedy. Um, I do happen to like this episode more than The Trouble with Tribbles. I know Trouble with Tribbles is beloved, but when it comes to the comedic episodes, I've always had kind of more of an attraction to this one over that one. Um, Kirk driving a car is classic comedy bit. You know, when Spock says to him something along the lines of, "You're a great starship commander, but when it comes to taxi service, you leave much to be desired." Something along those lines. I don't think that's the exact quote, but it's those little bits of dialogue that are really funny. Um, Scotty's interactions with the mob bosses down on the planet when he's communicating with them over the ship's intercom. Pretty funny stuff. They're asking for like heaters and said they got like Kirk and McCoy, or Kirk, Spock, and McCoy are bagged, and Scotty's like, "Get on the ship's computer and find out what's a heater." You know, like try to find out what a heater is. That was a terrible Scottish accent, by the way. I really don't have a whole lot to say about this one. Our crewman death count remains at 43 because nobody dies in this episode. But yeah, it's it's a more lighthearted episode than something super serious. I did see some like Dutch angle shots in this. So the director for this one, James Comic, um, did a little bit different shooting wise. A lot of these episodes we've been watching have been directed by Joseph Pevney. So we did have James Comac, I think that's how you say it this week, some of the shots reminded me more of like something you would see in Batman with Adam West, like the 1966. Um, we had a couple of fight scenes. I mean, Kirk straight up punches several dudes in the face in this one. Even got to see like McCoy doing a judo chop, which was strange. I don't recall ever really seeing McCoy beat up on anybody before, but he got a couple of shots in. You know, got in a couple of licks in like a pullback widescreen angle. You know what? I wonder. I don't have to sit in front of me, but I would not be surprised if some of these directors for these episodes actually went over and shot episodes of Batman, because both of these shows were on television at the same time. And if you told me that James Comack had directed like the Adam West Batman, um, I would believe you. The only thing that we're missing in those wide shots were like bangs and pows and zaps on the screen. Anyways, that's all I got to say about this. Let me know what you think about it below. Don't really have a whole lot, no sense in going on any longer. So as always, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.